Hey everybody, Michelle is here, taking a break, and then I'll get back to what I was doing. But I want to come in and share some things about what I'm contemplating and what I'm understanding. And one thing you have to keep in mind about human beings, you know, we are, like I said, we are all talking all over the universe. All of us are talking and giving our theories and opinions, which we are allowed to do, and giving our perspective, which we are allowed to do as well. And having discussions, which I find those more important than anything, especially if they're face-to-face discussions with people, and just kind of feeling the energy and attempting to understand and relate to each other better. Online, I have some issues with that because of the constant manipulation and the constant interference. And so online, in my opinion, is almost anti-living, meaning you're not really living your full potential if you spend all of your time online. It's okay to have some interaction online, of course, but there are some who just have replaced it with living. All they do is online. Everything's online, 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 and there is no escape from that because they're so vested in online that they don't have an opportunity actually to get offline and be within nature and within genuine, I mean, well, not genuine human beings, but actual human beings. We're all growing to be genuine. We're all evolving to be more genuine and learning that way. And so what you're going to run into, and that's where individuality has to step in and you be held responsible and accountable. A lot of people are going to be having you all over the universe in their explanation of their reality and how they understand it. Okay. And a lot of us are attempting to help people, teach people, give messages, blah 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 blah, whatever the title is. That's actually irrelevant. Like I said, it's satisfying, and the great thing about everything that's happening is it all is free will. So it still goes back to the individual. All right. But I just want you to understand that you're going to, I do everything I can to talk on a level that's a layman's level, on a level where, that is understood. Because if you're not understood um, and relatable, then what's the purpose, really? I mean, so you're going to find people that are attempting to always define things. And all I say as an individual is you need a philosophical element to anything that's relevant to developing. You need that as well as the scientific evidence, of course. So my point is you can't just attempt to keep separating things as if they don't come together, that they are required for full development of a fully functioning and developing human being. You need the philosophical elements as well as scientific. Okay, you need the fantasy as well as the scientific. Okay, you need the abstract as well as the scientific. You need it all in a conversation in order to develop and evolve it and to bring it into more of a understanding. Because, remember, learning is lifetime. So you cannot end a conversation with, okay, that it cannot be philosophical. Let's separate the philosophical. Let's separate the ethics of it, because you need ethics in science. You need morals in science. Okay, that's why we have the AI technology, because we lack that. We lack the ethical and the moral and the virtues of our responsibilities and accountabilities. That's why AI was created. AI should never have been created in such a way to where it's going to now control us instead of assisting us. And a lot of people don't want to accept that, and that's fine. You don't have to. Again, this is free will. Okay. So just be mindful that ultimately you have to be the one. The individual has to be the one in control of their thoughts and be able to process it as best you can, and don't allow yourself to be taken on these wild rides across the universe, all over the galaxy, without you having a firm foundation and understanding as to where are you headed, where am I, and be okay with it. Okay, do not attempt to take on more than you can handle, is my point. Okay, do not take on more than you can handle, and do not assume that you know it all and that you have all the answers, because no one does. Otherwise, what's the purpose? Okay, now some of us have answers, but we still have to step back and allow people to to generate their own realities and come up with an answer that they understand as well. Okay, it is an individual layer of developing. Some of us are parallel in consciousness, okay, and how we are thinking. We're thinking on a like-minded basis, and that's wonderful. That's but it has to continue. You still have to continue to move it on up, and then it does. It's still individual, I should say, but you can still have a like-mindedness of other human beings that are there with you. We're in it together on that, on an equal playing field of fairness. Okay, and we're swinging this together. We're swinging this energy together, and raising it. It has to be raised. A lot of people will not raise above a certain level. Okay, and I told you why several times. So my point is, you need to have all the elements of what is required to be a genuine human being to tackle any chances of development. Okay, so you can't always say, well, it's all you can't always you cannot always think that it has to be scientific. Okay, it can be, but there needs to be some elements and control in that, and what you mean about, okay, it's scientific. Okay, you need to have some ethics about that. You need to have some moral characters about. You have to still develop yourself as an individual human being to know how to handle such scientific matters. And so that's why you have a certain level of people that do operate on a scientific level, but they still need to have the morality, the ethics, okay, the philosophical. Okay, they still need that. Okay, as well as the genuine understanding of our perceptions of realities. Okay, is my perception of reality producible? Okay, it's still. I mean, all that still has to be there before you attempt to label something as scientific. Okay, and so many people want to get there. Okay, I want to be in science. They want to get into science so quickly. Or the same thing with mathematics or any type of abstract, because it's all abstract, right? Science is abstract, but yet there's a layer of it that is reproducible, but it's still abstract nonetheless. You're still developing it, you're still understanding it, and you still have to have a pattern of your behavior towards it. There has to be ethics and morals and values and virtues to take on such a such an element, because of the mystery involved with it. There's a mystery with science. Okay, so, and it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be having, and you're supposed to be enjoying that too. You're supposed to be enjoying that, developing that on all the levels that are there. Instead of attempting to leapfrog immediately up to the top of it and think, okay, I got the answers. I got the answers. No, you don't. None of us do. Okay, none of us have the answers per se. What we have is we're developing towards the answer. Okay, remember, we are evolving. Evolving is a moving process. You're evolving. That means you're moving, and you mean you're developing. Okay, and then you're understanding. We gave, see, the issue is we make science material. And that's why everybody wants to keep running to it and attempting to manipulate it and deceive and, manipulate it and control it. That's why we have idiots, and I call them idiots, that are attempting to understand the energy of creation. And not for the mystery of it or the learning of it or the developing of it. It's the control and the interference. And that's the control and the interference is where Mother Nature is now taking over and putting a stop to it all. Because like I said, everybody wants to leapfrog to science, the science level of developing, because they see it as material. It's like a game. If I can get that, I can control it. Okay, and that's the same thing about why they want to know everything about our brains and the energy of our brain activity, because they're looking for the consciousness, but the consciousness is invisible and it's an energy as well. And once we die, it escapes us. But a lot of scientists think that it's fixed in our brain somewhere where they can get to it. And that's what they're attempting to do. Everything turns into materialness. We see things as materialness instead of the energy. And so that's where a lot of people are failing. And, and allowing technology to control and eventually take over, right? That was the whole point anyway. But being ignorant and not understanding that process, we've essentially created monsters that are going to turn on us, turn on humanity. Because we know on Mars something is happening on Mars already. We know something is happening on the moon already. How can we? Why? Because we can't get there. Only certain people will get there. All right. And then we also know that people can be hypnotized. They can be manipulated. They can be mind controlled. Everything. And so, in other words, those nefarious practices will continue because that's just the nature of the beast, I guess, as you can say. The nature of being underdeveloped in your consciousness and not understanding that there's a process. Everybody wants to leapfrog forward so quickly, because they see it as a fixed item. To say, oh, I'm a scientist, they're looking at it as a fixed materialness. Oh, I'm in mathematics. I'm a mathematics blah, 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 genius. So they, and everything's seen as a fixed element of something that they have to have. That's material. And it's not. It's energy. It's invisible. The consciousness is invisible. So as I develop, I'm enjoying the process. I know that this is, I got millions and millions of billions and billions, actually, more lifetimes to go, as well as everybody else. But a lot of people are rolling themselves backwards to where, their material, the amount of time allowed in a materialness, a coarse material, is going to run out on them. It happens. If you're not, that's, if you look at nature, if certain plants are not developing properly, what happens to them? They end up, they're dead in so much time. You can give them as much care as you can, but at some point, some of them just do die out prematurely, I should say. All right, so enjoy the development is my point. Don't take on more than you can handle. Admit that you don't know it all. Admit that you do not understand everything. But in the midst of it all, I'm going to stay grounded and be as present as possible, be as now as possible, whatever these terms are. Be is grounded. Know what every element of your body is doing, what every element of your thoughts, every element of your senses. Stay focused on that. And enjoy that. Because that's who you're going to keep waking up to every day and every night and for millions of years. It's going to be the element of you. An element of you or element of I. That's what's gonna be present for you. So be comfortable with it. Don't attempt to be outside of it. Being external all the time, thinking you got science. Nobody has science. Nobody understands science. Or I got the math formulas, or I got this, I got that. It's abstract, and it's a continually evolving event. Continually. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. Get me something to snack on, and then start to handling my business around here. So I want to send peace and love to everyone out there, and enjoy each other, enjoy yourself, and it's about universal love, ultimately. Okay? Talk to you soon.